How you doing, folks? This is Rex from the Buckeyenest again, and I was out here in Tipp City today dropping off some paperwork so I could get these computer classes started up, and I happened to notice the Historical Society is open today. Well, this is a really neat place. I was in here once before, but I didn't have any time to get any video. But they're open till 4 o'clock, and they said I could turn the camera on and run it to my heart's content. So, let's do just that. Okay, folks, I'm back with you here at the Historical Society in Tipp City, Ohio. And most of you know I spent a lot of time out here the last few weeks. And believe it or not, I'm even considering retiring here. One of the neatest things about this town is when I was walking down Main Street there, and I didn't get very good audio from it, but they play music on speakers out there on Main Street. And you don't find that anyplace else in the world. And I've traveled the world, trust me. So I got the camera going, as you can tell. And I got a lady here, her name is Susie. What's your last name, Susie?
Spittler.
Spittler. And Susie is the director?
Yes.
The director of the Historical Society Museum, here in Tipp City. And I'm going to let her tell you a little bit about it. So all you're going to do is hear her as I move this camera here. So what's this room all about, and what are we doing here, Susie?
This is a room as you come into the museum. This is our school room. Starting on that side, we have a school desk from the old Castle School and a school bell from the old Castle School. We have a number of pictures and other memorabilia from the Castle School. Then we have our sports area, from football to basketball, a few baseball things. Some of the things go way back, some of them are a little newer. Then we go to the band. We have one of the very old band uniforms plus one of the newer band uniforms. This was from the Mr. Taylor and his band, the large drum. We go around to our yearbook collection. We have yearbooks beginning in 1923, and we have every year up until some of the later ones. We don't have all the later ones, but we have most of them. We have notebooks just of the Tipp City Band, starting with from the very beginning. We have some of the sports pictures. We have our 2 big notebooks of just school pictures of various years. And we have a number of class reunion pictures there in notebooks, and also our baskets down here are miscellaneous school things. This clock is from the Castle School, as well as our light here in the ceiling from the Castle School. This is just various items of older graduating classes and some of the school books and some of the attendance records. Our chalkboard is from the Castle School, and our long table is from the Castle School. Zay Jones was kind enough to bring us one of the foundation blocks from the Castle School, which is one of the ones that would be the very first part of the building. We have a pommel horse from when the Broadway kids tumbling team was a part of the Broadway school. We have a number of school jackets and sweaters. Our hall tree at the beginning of the front, when you come in the front door, belonged to Grace Kenny. Very beautiful piece.
Who is Grace Kenny, for someone who doesn't know?
Grace Kenny has done almost all the research we have in our research room was done by Grace Kenny. Her husband Hartman took her up to the courthouse. She was from Texas. He married her down there. They came up here. She didn't know anybody, so she decided to do Tipp City history, and it's been invaluable. The records that we have that she has made for us. Of course, she has since passed away, but we are still using her records almost every time we're in here. We use it for something. So from our schoolroom, then we go around the corner. Okay.
Is this a picture of Grace here?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Let me get it. We gotta close this door. There's some glare there. There we go. All right, and we're going into.
We're going around to the corner, and this is our display about the Miami Area Canal. And of course, Tipp City is here because of John Clark realizing that the canal was coming through and that he would be able to grow a town around it, which is what happened. So we have a lot more information on that in our Grace Kenny room that can be found, but this is just our short display of what we have out to see. Most interesting, and anybody wants any more information, then we have lots more in the Grace Kenny room. We come on around our Opera House display. The Opera House is on the 3rd floor of the Chafee Butler building. Now downstairs that is a happenstance gift shop. But that was, the Opera House is on the 3rd floor. We have Leota Hoover. This is her graduation dress and her basketball uniform. At one time in the Opera House there was a professional basketball team from Tipp City called
Help, Gordon.
Gordon. What was the name of the basketball team? Yes, I know it.
Don't feel like the Lone Ranger. If you ever watch any of my other videos, I'll have brain locked right in the middle of them too. So.
We all know it. Nobody can come up with it. It's in one of those books. Anyway, there was a professional basketball team. They had touring groups that would come in and do all kinds of plays and operas and all kinds of things. And there was a roller skating rink. We have a wallpaper sample from the wallpaper that was on the wall at the time, and from the ceiling. This is a picture by Fred Haas that what it would have looked like at one time, and of course was just one of the seats.
This is one of the actual seats in the theater.
Yes.
I remember sitting in a chair like that one day.
They don't look very good.
No. What is this here?
Okay, this piece of furniture was made by the Garber Furniture Company, and it was out where the Trophy Net is now on South 2nd Street. The Garber family is one of 8 pieces of the bedroom suite that was manufactured, and the Garber family built the large white house behind the township building on the corner of Dow and 3rd Street. They were well known in the triangles. Yeah, I knew it.
Okay, folks, in case you missed it, it was the triangles we was talking about there earlier. So.
One of the interesting things about the Garber family is that we didn't know until we got this piece of furniture. When we picked it up, they gave us this information. Their son had a flying circus, and he and his wife, this is from one of their brochures that they passed out at their performances, and he and his wife performed. This is this picture, his wife. Unfortunately, she was killed doing one of the stunts in one of their air shows, but this is something that we didn't even know about people from Tipp City, that we had a flying circus that
Wonder if they knew the Wright brothers. You don't know. Okay.
This display is about the hotel gallery, and of course that's where the hotel gallery is now, but it was at one time the Carl's house, and John Nunless owned it. We have this register book, and this is from 1875, and this particular entry is Thompson's concert troupe, the Chafee's Opera House. So this was a troupe that would have come in to perform at the Opera House, and they all stayed at the hotel gallery. We find this invaluable. Our window and our cream and sugar were given to us by John Nunless' granddaughters.
Okay.
This piece of furniture is made by the Tippecanoe Cabinet Company. That building is still standing. It's right across the railroad track here on Walnut Street, and on the west side you can still see part of the sign. And these were manufactured and sent all over the United States.
Are they still building these?
No.
No.
But we're very fortunate. Ron Ray loaned this to us, and it's in beautiful shape. We're very fortunate to have it. On this side over here, we start with our railroad information. Of course, after the canal, once the railroad came through, the canal was not used. But so the railroad was a very big part of Tipp City history also. So this is our kind of a railroad display, and again, we have a lot more information on our files about that.
Right. Do you have a website?
They're working on it. You have to talk to Gordon about that. Sorry. And this is just some information here about our police department and our fire department, some way back pictures and some a little newer pictures.
Do you have a picture of Mr. Ike Meyer? The police officer that burned up in the patrol car?
No, we don't have a picture of him.
Wow. Because
You all
Gordon
know the
gave me
story.
some information about him.
Yes.
Because I was little obsessed, I suppose, with the siren on top of the car that was in the parade on Saturday afternoon.
Okay, yeah, the way they used to
And
do.
and all they said was, Officer Eichmeyer died, and this is the siren that come off his car.
Okay.
They didn't say how, they didn't say
Okay.
why, and having a law enforcement background myself.
Okay. He was hit by a train on the railroad.
Yeah, I saw
back
that.
there.
Yeah.
And his, well, we're not there yet. Over on the glass cabinet, we have his helmet and nightstick.
Oh, do you?
Loaned
Okay.
to us by his niece, Betty Eichel. So then we go on to some miscellaneous pictures. This is Life Squad, the early EMTs, 1975.
Okay.
And this was a gentleman by the name of Sonny Fair. Did a lot of things for the boys in the community. He had a boys choir that they traveled around and performed. He started the safety patrol kids, and this is taken in front of the Castle School. And this is another one of the safety patrol boys. And these are just some miscellaneous pictures. Everything in this case, and the case down here, were all manufactured things that are full of things that were manufactured in Tipp City or given away as promotional items by businesses in Tipp City. So that's, people find it very interesting that we have this much industry in Tipp City. There's some
We
very
have grown pretty
unusual
steady.
things. Yes, we have.
I paid
yeah.
attention to the parade information, and they said you guys are up to like 10,000 citizens now.
Yeah, we've grown. Because after the trains came the interstate, and that's what really was a boon to Tipp City as far as growing, bringing new people in and housing developments.
Mm-hmm.
These are just some, again, miscellaneous items that we thought would be interesting. This is an inside of the Monroe Township building. Was a play in 1948.
Okay.
So that shows, that's one of the few pictures of the actual stage at the Township building, and of course then this is where they showed the movies. But the Opera House, they had to do, there wasn't any place else, so they had to do all their graduations, and any public community activity took place there. Once the Township building was here, then they moved the graduations and a number of things to the Township building. We didn't have a gymnasium at the school until, when the high school was built in 1916 on the corner of 5th and Dow Street, they had a so-called gymnasium, but there wasn't any room for seating. It was just for the boys to play basketball. So until the Broadway building was built, we had a full gymnasium with a stage that everything could take place on Broadway School. Up until then, it took place in the Monroe Township building.
All right, everybody out there, y'all remember that? I do, but I didn't know that it was invented in town here by Dale Smith, the
Right.
Fuzzbuster.
He graduated in my class,
Did he?
1961. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Piece of trivia there for you folks, right here in Tipp City.
These are just, again, some miscellaneous office things. We have a number of things. This is Dolly Toy stuff, and everybody's familiar with Dolly Toy. Many people in Tipp City worked at Dolly Toy. These are our these are the log books of my great-grandfather.
Okay.
Joseph Messick, yes. He kept those, he started them in 1933, and his daughter continued until her death in 1983. So he tells in there what the cost of his truck patch was, how many bushels something he sold for how much money, and what the weather was. And one of the items he has in there that at the time he worked for the Dietrich Company and then the coal yard, and they gave him a 2-cent bonus for Christmas, and he was tickled to get it. So it just gives you an insight into the times, how different things were.
Mark Conrad out at the Military History Museum in the Dayton VA. Take a look here, buddy. You need to come down here and look through some of these books. Mark is the curator for the Miami Valley Military History Museum, located on the campus at Dayton VA. They got
I didn't even know there was such a thing.
3 stories out there,
Oh,
full of
my.
all kinds of stuff.
Okay.
And I know you probably won't want to give any of this up to him for his museum, but Mark, you need to come down here and look at some of these books. I see a Veterans Memorial here. Here's one that says Tipp City Military, and Susie there was talking about some journals that her great-granddad wrote. And I know you're into that stuff, so you need to bring your butt down here and take a look.
I have to say, we did a cemetery walk in West Milton for several years also, and one of the ones that we did was a young man that won the Medal of Honor, and the young man that portrayed him went to the veterans. I'd forgotten they had the museum down there, and they provided him with the uniform. They provided him with information, got him in contact with the young man's widow so that she could be there. They were just wonderful. They did a lot.
That was probably the American Veterans Heritage Center that's located in the museum, because they all both work together.
Okay.
And I know both organizations well. And if it wasn't, it was probably, Mark, if you're still listening, it was probably you that found this young man and helped him out with the uniforms, because I know it was the museum that did that. So.
And they sent an honor guard, so we closed the evening after the cemetery walk.
Did they send a horse honor guard?
No. But they sent an honor guard to do a 21-gun salute to close the walk. So we were very appreciative of what all they did for us.
How soon was that?
It would probably be 2 years ago.
Okay.
And that was in the West Mountain Cemetery.
Okay.
Because the young man was buried there. Anyway, we continue on. A fellow in the community named Joe Taylor has done extensive research on the fire department, kept these scrapbooks, so he has some Tipp City history scrapbooks and fire department scrapbooks. We have any number of books there on different subjects.
I see that. I see that.
And again, these are all things that are manufactured in Tipp City or given out as promotional items for advertising. We have a number of things down here. Well, this is our. I don't know if you want this or not.
We want it all. We want to tell the whole world about it.
This is the room where all of our VHS tapes of our oral history recordings for 9 years. They met at the Senior Citizen Center and taped people's oral histories. And this is a display of some of the people that were on the panels at various times. They're in the process of converting those from VHS tapes to DVDs, so you can play them on DVDs. But very valuable thing, very interesting tapes to listen to, because this Tipp City's history by those that have lived it.
When I was on my way over here today,